If you've ever had a Dawnless Days campaign collapse despite winning most battles, this video is for you. Controlling Dawnless Days is not like Public Order in other Total War games. Here, low control doesn't just cause rebellions, it ruins your economy, cripples your armies, and can make entire provinces effectively useless. In this guide, I'll explain how control really works, what destroys it, how to stabilize it early, and how to recover even from total collapse. In vanilla Total War, low public order is mostly an inconvenience. In Dawnless Days, low control is a strategic failure state. Here's why. Penalties for low control are much harsher, rewards for high control are meaningful, but much harder to reach. Rebellions are extremely dangerous, often spawning elite units. Low control stacks penalties across taxes, population growth, morale, replenishment, and recruitment costs for armies. A province with poor control isn't just unstable, it's a dead weight. What lowers control and why campaigns collapse? The biggest control killers in order. Taxes. -4 control for every level above normal. Never do this, it's not worth it. Difficulty level. On legendary, you're eating up to -6 control, everywhere, permanently. Food shortages. This is the most brutal penalty in the system. The bigger the food deficit, the bigger the penalty to control. And you can't rely on overall surplus. Every province needs to be food self-sufficient, otherwise it suffers massive penalties. Cultural differences. Especially punishing when expanding rapidly into hostile regions, as it takes long time to establish your own culture. Devastation. If you just defended a settlement, there are likely multiple buildings damaged, each causing -1 control until repaired. Governors and traits. A bad governor can quietly poison a province for dozens of turns. Agents, buildings and effects. Raiding, sabotage, negative events, they all stack. The key mistake players make is underestimating how many of these stack at once. What rises control and what actually matters? Now, control bonuses come from several sources, but not all are created equal. There are global sources like bonuses from tech trees that apply to every single province, or some character traits like Denethor's +1 control everywhere, or bonuses for completing quests. These, however, are rare and generally only provide a very small boost. So the main way to increase control in your provinces is by building buildings, such as the main building in the city, very powerful city corruption reducing building, and cultural buildings that provide both culture and bonus to control depending on how much culture you have. These are only worth building where you already have strong culture, because this bonus will not apply in newly conquered provinces, since your culture over there will be very low. And obviously governors. This is probably the most powerful local effect. The higher the governor's authority, the bigger boost to control. At the maximum level 10 authority, this is a whopping +8 control. On top of that, you can also apply a +3 control edict. Deploying agents is also very powerful for control, especially spies. And other agents sometimes give control by simply being present in the province. Lastly, stronghold lost or stronghold conquered effects. If an important city is conquered by your side, for example, as good side if you conquer Barad-dûr or Moranon, there is +1 control boost for 4 turns to all good factions in all provinces. However, it's worth remembering that long-term stability comes from stacking permanent bonuses like buildings and tech tree bonuses, not just temporary fixes. Does control snowball? Control does not snowball upwards. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The higher the control, the more natural tendencies work against you. This represents people organizing themselves where control is really low to stop their country from falling apart. But at the opposite end of spectrum, they are not happy at all when control reaches absolute dominion and the discontent spreads. So this mechanic slows down a total collapse, while at the same time making maxing out control and farming these amazing bonuses really difficult. On the other end of spectrum, control absolutely snowballs downwards. As it drops lower and lower, income falls, population declines, your armies and garrisons are crippled by penalties to morale, replenishment and massively increased recruitment costs. And that's why early stabilization matters so much. Early versus mid versus late game strategy. Early game. Your goal is stability, not dominance. Holding provinces at limited is fine. Between -24 and +24 you get no penalties and no bonuses of any kind. Avoiding penalties comes first. Rewards are secondary. The reason is simple. Penalties are much harsher than rewards are beneficial. So it's better to have all the provinces stable rather than big control in some and negative control in others. Now, if you have only one province, you can push higher. You can stack all the control increasing mechanics. This is possible but expensive. With multiple provinces, however, don't overinvest in the single one at the cost of everywhere else. Try to spread basic control across your empire, even by building just one control building everywhere to begin with. Now mid-game is where most campaigns live or die. Your goal should be at least one, preferably two control buildings in every province, plus a city corruption reduction building. I can't stress how important this building is, not only for increasing control, but overall health of your economy. A governor and edict combo wherever possible. This will be slow to begin with, but as your dominance increases, for every next level, you unlock another governor. So until you stabilize the situation, you should absolutely prioritize the control edict, and only once the situation is stable and your income grows, you might consider the tax one. Mid-game is also where you want to prioritize global control tech bonuses, such as the one for researching all the military techs from tier 1. It might not sound like a lot, but +1 everywhere is actually meaningful. Now in late game, stabilizing control becomes much easier. You have multiple tech bonuses that all stack. Every province should be food self-sufficient by now, and you have both techs and money to invest in higher tiers of control buildings, and just look how powerful they are. For example, this one provides +8 control and tons of culture. A couple of these per province and you are absolutely fine. And this is when pushing to absolute dominion across multiple provinces actually makes sense. Common mistakes. Even veterans make these. It's fine, income looks okay. No, taxes are halved, population declines, and your armies and garrisons are massively weakened. I'll just farm rebellions. Rebels are strong, numerous, and they don't fix structural issues. I will just untax the province. Nope, reducing taxes does not increase control, it only gives more growth. I will just park a full stack here. Well, armies are for fighting, otherwise they are very expensive. For very little benefit they provide. A general bodyguards alone can cost as much as 500 per turn. Build buildings instead, you only pay for them once. I will just build watchtowers everywhere. Do not do that. Watchtowers are one of the worst buildings in the game. They do increase control but only slightly, while draining your treasury by several hundred gold every single turn. How to recover from a collapse. Here I'll show this in action, using a pretty disastrous situation here. We just took the last settlement from Mordor, and as you can see, control is -67, going down by 49 per turn. We'll get rebellion next turn, but there are massive structural issues that will not go away even if we wipe out rebels. We have -20 from conquest, -14 from non-factual influence. Devastation is costing us 13 per turn. We need to fix these buildings ASAP. So let's start with that. Okay, now we want this building, corruption reduction one. We need to downgrade this a notch so we can then convert, so let's dismantle. Gonna keep the other two control buildings, they still work. You can see we get +2 from them, and the total bonus from buildings is 2 because they are damaged, so we get +1. We'll get another +2 once we fix them next turn, but we need to make space for cultural buildings. So let's actually scrap this and this. Now we need to bring some force in to protect from rebels. There's no one inside, so you crack on. Yeah, and let's move on. Alright, got this rebellion, let's get rid of them first of all. Okay, so we're already going up by 7, this is pretty decent. Right, so +14 with the army being now garrisoned. Let's bring a spy in and deploy him here. Okay, we're going up by 19. Let's next put a governor in. Going to put our best guy in charge of this province, obviously Denethor for his gigantic authority. Nice, going up by 24, and let's apply control edict. Okay, so how's the situation? Characters are now providing 15. Military awakening and activity are because we just fought here and we have armies. Natural tendencies strongly working in our favor because control is so poor. We still have a little bit of penalty from hostile raiding, but there's no raiding happening right now. This will go away next turn. And we just need to deal with non-faction influence really right now. We have 2 building slots open. Let's repurpose this into hall and build monument here. Now our culture is going up strongly by 3% per turn, so penalty from non-faction influence will massively go down over time. But we're already looking way better, plus 24 compared to minus 47 last turn. This is a tremendous turnaround. Alright, we're going up by 28 now, this is even better. We have another plus 2 from Hull kicking in 2 turns, and another plus 2 from Burial Grounds kicking in 3 turns. Then we're going to scrap this and get another cultural building here. And look, non-faction influence is only causing minus 12 now. It was minus 17 2 turns ago. And raiding penalty went away. It's pretty much stabilized. In 2 turns we'll be in positive territory. This is how you do it. If this helped, let me know which Dawnless Day mechanic you want covered next.